Sabbath. Last week we studied about the religious conflict between other religion, right? And if we are Christian, we cannot accept other religion. It's not because we hate them or something, because there is error in other religion. We believe only one God, and God gave only one way to worship Him. Well, our title is connecting from last week, and we are going to learn about the Sunday law. Sure, everybody knows about the Sunday law, and I heard from the very, very early when I was like a bata, smaller than the Kian, I was worried about the Sunday law because once the Sunday law, the persecution start very harsh way. And but there was one question to me: why there is no Bible verse support? Actually, the only Adventist church believes about the Sunday law, and our faith is based on the Bible. But it was kind of weird that we cannot support by the Bible. But actually, later days after I study, I found out that there are a bunch of verses explaining about the Sunday law. Especially Matthew chapter 24, verse 15. We must understand that. Can you read it together?
Therefore, when you see the abomination of desolation, spoken of by Daniel the prophet, standing in the holy place, whoever reads, let him understand.
Yes. Jesus is clearly says that let him what? Understand. About what? The Daniel the prophet. Yes. And God, Jesus is speaking very simply. When you see abomination of desolation, which is spoke by the Daniel before, standing in the holy place, and this is the verses supporting about the Sunday law. You may say that why? But we can study about the desolation. Desolation, the word is a budelrigma. Budelrigma is a hella, which is a Greek word, which is a four things and detestable things of idols and things pertaining to adultery. When you read about all the desolation comes out in the Old Testament, you can see that that is related with the idolatry, which is the worshiping the idol. Well, this word, buderigma, comes out in New Testament 6 times, and 3 times, which is Matthew, Mark, and Luke, which is the same talking about by the Jesus, which is Mark chapter 13 and Lucas chapter 21. And another 3 times comes out in the Revelation 3 times. Okay. Let's go to the what is desolation. Okay. Abomination of desolation. So when God says the abomination in the Old Testament, can you read it first one?
And you saw their abominations and their idols, which were among them, wood and stone and silver and gold.
Yes. And you saw their abomination and their idols which were among them. So abomination means when God feel abomination, when he sees the idols in them. Okay? So it is a very related with what? The idols. Okay? What is the idol? Can we make image of God? No. Why? The second commandment clearly commands that do not make any idol and any image from the heaven or even the sea or on the ground. So we cannot make it, but once they have the idol, meaning that cannot be presenting the God Himself. So which is the worshiping other than the God, that is the abomination. Can you read the second one?
For the children of Judah have done evil in my sight, says the Lord. They have set their abominations in the house, which is called by my name, to pollute it.
Yes. So when God is saying that, they're doing evil, and their house is called in my name, but they put the abomination in the house. So we can clearly know that this is the dirty things which God really hated. And when God hated, the Hebrew word is like this: shikuchu. Shikuch is also saying abominable things, abomination, idol. When he says abomination, it always connected with the worshiping wrong thing and worshiping idols. Okay? Well, not only idol, it says the abomination, but next verse is talking about abomination on the way of worshiping too. Okay, can you read this?
Therefore, say to the house of Israel, thus says the Lord God, are you defiling yourselves in the manner of your fathers and committing harlotry according to their abominations?
Yes. So in the manner of your father, he says that because their father, worshipped the idols. So here the father means the ancestors. So when they worshiping idol in that manner, in the manner of your father, worshiping wrong way about the God, that's still what? Abomination. That abomination also same word, which is a shikuch. Shikuch. Okay. Well, we read a while ago about in the Revelation, in the Revelation, it says like this. Can you read this?
And on her forehead a name was written, Mystery Babylon the Great, the mother of harlots and of the abominations of the earth.
Yes. In the New Testament, woman is the church. So what do you think the harlot? Harlot is dirty, abomination church, which is not really properly worshiping God. They're still women, but God calls them the harlot. When Israel people worshiping idol, God even called the Israel as a harlot too. Do you understand? So the mother of harlot is all the church. They're the mother of the all the churches which worship God in wrong way. So who are these? Who is this? Who is the head of abomination? Sure, this is surely is speaking about the Roman Catholic, because they are the one who starting with the wrong way of worship. Well, the abomination is the worst what? Buddha, which is the abomination comes out only 6 times. So at least we can understand this mother of harlot and the abomination of the earth, and this is connected with worshiping. Do you understand? So when they do wrong worshiping, God says that abomination. Okay. Read Matthew chapter 24, verse 15, which is, therefore, when you see the abomination of the desolation spoken of by Daniel the prophet, standing in the holy place, it is the place. When somebody can ask me, how come it is a Sabbath then? Well, it is a Sabbath because when you read the whole chapter of Hebrew chapter 4, Hebrew chapter 4 describes Sabbath as a place. Because it is the where we can come in. And when we come into the Sabbath, he always expressed the Sabbath as a place. So when something wrong way of worshiping, standing in the Sabbath, this is the time we understand that's the Sunday law. Now we have a freedom of our religion, especially in USA, isn't it? Bill, do you believe that they can say that you must not keep Sabbath but the Sunday? Can they say that? Never gonna happen, right? But what if that will be happen?
Oh.
What if that will be happen? In other words, I give you another question. The Christianity and Muslim, they can unify or not?
No.
No? Are you sure about it? What do you think? Before I was asking same question to the Richard, and I remember that Richard said, no, no, isn't it? Do you still believe that they cannot unify? Well, today I'm going to introduce you what's going on in the world. I saw this morning the sermon from the pastor Kim, one of the pastor in South Korea, Adventist pastor, and he is explaining very, very well. So most of the parts I got it from him too, because I want to introduce you about sometime that good sermon. Okay. Other Protestant church, they interpret this verse this way. Can you read it?
It refers to the fact that in 168 BC, Antiochus Epiphanes, king of the Sumerians, erected an image of Zeus in the Jerusalem temple and sacrificed an unclean pig on that altar.
Yes. There was a time the Antiochus Epiphanes, he is the king of Sumerians. He invaded Jerusalem, and in the altar, he put the pig and then sacrificed. So the altar actually only clean animal can be burnt, but he made it dirty. So there are people, most of the people understand this is the happening and this is the things about Matthew 24 verse 15. But this is a wrong interpretation. The reason is because the time is wrong, and Antiochus Epiphanes was not really strong king. He was actually moved out from the Jerusalem immediately when he heard the news that Roman soldier is marching in front. So he was just a runaway. He was not able to make it dirty, totally or something. And the reason is like this. Matthew 24 and 15, it is talking about the last days. When we do not understand about the last days, maybe we can interpret this verse in wrong way. But since you understand when last days begun, this happening should come out after the last day begun. Do you still remember when the last day begun? Do you remember this graph? Yes?
Mhm.
Yes. Yes. The telos, when Jesus answered to his disciple, he say in the beginning of sorrow, verse 7 and 8, especially 8, he says, beginning of sorrow. Something is happening. How does it start? With the three major events. What was that? The three major things. Starting with the telos. What is that? Earthquake, pestilence, and famine. Yes. So when earthquake, famine, and pestilence started globally, it should be what? Globally. Globally. All over the world. Then we understand that telos begun. Okay? And there is a three angels message will be proclaimed in this time. And when the end of grace time, which is a probation, closes, the seventh plague will start, and there's no more mercy and no more mediator, so no more chance for salvation. And with the seven plagues, the God's last breath will be given to the people who are not able to save until this moment. The reason I show this graph is you must see this very, very often time. And you must memorize, and you must know how to even drawing, to be sure that what you know what will be happen for the next. Okay. Then when Matthew 24:15 will be belongs, when Sunday law will be proclaimed. Number one, there. Number two, this period. Number three, this period. So number one, no one. Number two, no one. Number three, number three. Okay, actually, the that Sunday law is not necessarily to put on the third because no more chance to have the salvation. So almost when it is almost end here this time, when beginning of last day begun, and when there is a thing, this is the right time that Sunday law will be stand. Do you understand? So even Sunday law, there are still people who can be saved when they say this is a very very wrong. This is something is very wrong, and I should stand for the side of God. How come America give this kind of cannot understand this kind of law? It should be federal law. Then you must to stand not for the Sunday law, but for the commandments of the God. Okay. Let's go to next verse after you understand this. Can you read this together?
And he deceives those who dwell on the earth by those signs which he was granted to do in the sight of the beast, telling those who dwell on the earth to make an image to the beast who was wounded by the sword and lived. He was granted power to give breath to the image of the beast, that the image of the beast should both speak and cause as many as would not worship the image of the beast to be killed.
Yes. He's talking about the beast who was wounded by the sword and lived. Meaning to say this is a Catholic because the Catholic was destroyed by the Berthier, the general of the Napoleon, 1798. And they revived again in 1930 something during the time when they were given the Vatican area by the Italy. And he is surely the beast, which is talking about the Catholic, and choose as many as would not worship the image of the beast to be killed. The image of this is not idol, but this is just image that like a icon. Do you remember icon? Which is an icon. So icon of the beast is a Sunday. And what is the seal, the people that sign between God and his people? Which is the Sabbath. Yes. So this will be happening when Sunday law given to us. Understand? From the mother church, which is from the Catholic, who came out first for revolution of the religion? What is the name? Do you remember Martin Luther?
Martin Luther.
Martin Luther. Yeah, that's right. Well, Martin Luther's, that was the first church after the Catholic. And Martin Luther, we call them Lutheran World Federation. In 1983, Pope John Paul II spoke for the first time at the Lutheran Church during the 500th anniversary of Luther's birth. Actually, they are very enemy, isn't it? They cannot join each other. Why? Because Luther come out from the Catholic and then he reject the Catholic and claim them. Even Martin Luther claimed Catholic as the Antichrist. So they cannot join together, but what they are doing is like this. In 1999, the Lutheran World Federation and the Catholic Church signed joint declaration on the doctrine of justification, how the people will become righteousness, which affirm that both churches share a common understanding of the central doctrine of Christianity. So now they are signing together. Okay, we believe common thing, which is most important. We believe both. So what they did, they made a joint. But who's did? Frances, right? What they are doing in October 31, 2016, Pope Francis and the president of the Lutheran World Federation, is a Bishop Munib Yunnan, signed a joint declaration marking the 500th anniversary of Reformation. The declaration called for renewed offer to overcome the division between two churches and to work together for the common good. Well, actually, they cannot be together. But it was already happened that they will go together. Do you think this is possible? I give you about one association. Have you heard World Council of Churches? Have you heard about this organization? Okay. Bill, can you read it for me?
The World Council of Churches is a fellowship of churches that seeks to promote Christian unity and to work together for peace and justice in the world. It was founded in 1948 and currently has 350 member churches from over 110 countries. The World Council of Churches is headquartered in Geneva, Switzerland.
Yes. This World Council of Churches already 350 members church. It meaning to say 315 Christian denominations. This is a Christian denomination. Like one denomination has 1,000 of churches. So 350 is not small, and 110 countries are not small. Their goal is what? Promote Christian unity. Why? Their doctrines are all different. Some are saying that baptism under the water is right. Some are saying baptism with the sparkling water is right. But they don't care about that. What they care? They want to be one. You know what kind of church it was joined for here? Anglican Communion, Baptist World Alliance. So meaning all the Baptist church, they are joined already ACC, WCC. And Christian Church and Congregation Union of Canada, Evangelical Lutheran Church in America, the Lutheran Church in America, they already joined WCC. And Moravian Church in America, Presbyterian Church, this is a really big organization too. Their biggest church in South Korea, okay? And Reformed Church in America, United Church of America, United Methodist Church. You know what is a Methodist Church doing? They follow, their main doctrine is like this. They follow only accordance of the Bible. But now, what they are doing, they join for the World Council of Churches. Problem. World Council of Churches started by the Protestant Church, but biggest supporter is not from them. That's from the Vatican. And there is the goal. Can you read it together?
Their goal is to create a one or unified church, visibly fellowshipping in one faith and one sacrament.
Is that possible? One faith? One faith meaning to say, I believe in one thing. How they can be together. Good thing, Adventists never join for this. Why? We have a stand. What is our stand? Our stand is with the Bible. If we don't find anything in the Bible, we don't afraid to have conflict with others. It doesn't mean that we like the conflict. But we know that when we stand for the truth, the untruthful people will make a problem because we are the fundamentalists, there are non-fundamentalists. Well, the world population is around 8 billion now. I don't know it is 9 billion or 8 billion, but what I understand is 8 billion. The number of Christians, including Catholics, is around 2.4 billion. I have a question. Can Islam and Christianity merge? Can they unify? Yes. But actually, it is a very impossible, isn't it? Have you heard of Chrislam? You never heard about Chrislam, right? Well, Chrislam have this kind of mark, which is the what moon is that? Yes, and then the cross is in the center, and this is Chrislam. The number of Christian and Islam, if we join together, that's around 4.5 billion, which is more than half of the population of the world. Do you understand how they are strong? If they become one. Maybe this is your first time to heard about Abrahamic family house. Have you heard about Abrahamic family house? Okay. Abraham has two sons in the beginning. Who was it? Isaac and Ismail. Ismail was the son first, and Isaac is the promised son. From the Isaac, who come out? Israel come out. From Ismail, who come out? Islam people come out. But their father is who? Abraham. Do you understand? So actually, they believe Noah, they believe Abraham, they believe even others. So when they have common things, they also say that they believe the God of Abraham. Who say that? Islam. Islam. As you see, Pope Francis, and I tell you about this guy. This is a Grand Imam. His Grand Imam is like a position. Grand Imam is like a position. Highest person among Islam. Okay, his name Ahmed El Tayyab in Abu Dhabi in February 4, 2019. The project was also inspired by the document Human Fraternity, which was signed by Pope and Grand Imam when? February 4, 2019. And the document on human fraternity, what is a human fraternity? Become brotherhood, right? Brotherhood. Calls for all people to live together in peace and harmony, regardless of their religious belief. How it is good, isn't it? Meaning to say, for the peace, they can unify. So what the UN did, UN proclaimed the International Day of Human Fraternity Day, February 4, 2022. But you never heard this before, isn't it? Why? Because it was happened during the coronavirus. During the corona, it was happened already been like this. So what is this? Okay, I show you some picture. How many buildings you can see? 3, right? You can see 3. The Abrahamic family house is a multi-faith complex that was inaugurated in Abu Dhabi on February 16, 2023. So it was built, finished. It was finished to build. And it is located on South Sadiyat Island, which is the cultural district in the capital of United Arab Emirates. The complex includes a mosque, a church, and a synagogue. And it is designed to be place of worship, dialogue, and learning for people of all faith. When you see this ground, they are meeting together. On February 4, 2019, they agreed to build a family house, issued a joint proclamation, broke ground on they started a family house that fall, completed the building in January 2023. So this year, January, it was built, finished. Okay, can you read it?
It had a dedication ceremony on February 16 and held a unity service on Sunday, February 19. The official opening date is March 1.
Yes. Even official opening day is March 1. The three religions, including Jewish, including the Islam, including Catholic, they join together and worship what day? The Sunday. Sunday. Do you think it is possible for the Jewish? I never was thinking that it is possible. And I cannot believe even when I got this news. So this looks like this. On February 4, 2019, they agreed to build the Abrahamic family house. Why? Because the three major religion of the world, which is a Catholic, which is Islam, which is the Jewish, they believe one Father who is Abraham. And it had a dedication ceremony on February 16, and they held a unity service on Sunday, February 19. The official opening day is March 1. So if you see this ground, it looks like this. There's a church, there's a mosque, and this synagogue. I see this is a synagogue because of this mark, the triangle mark is here, right? You can see it. And then there is like a candlestick or lamp stick, and this is the Hebrew. So surely this is for the synagogue. Okay, and that is a mosque, and that is a church. Church has an ark. Okay, so this is a picture, and who is kissing each other? Who is kissing each other? Pope and Grand Imam. Yes, they are unifying for good each other. So when we see in Jewish Insider, I found it this, they also confirm that UAE Jewish community opens the Moses ben Maimon synagogue. So name of this synagogue is what? Moses ben Maimon. Yes. And it is news, and news was given February 20, 2023. And it is explaining about they worship in same day, which is not the Saturday, but Sunday. Can you believe it? Well, from the John, the Paul second, they always gathering different leaders of religion. And they keep on saying about the unification of the religion. And you see this is a more grabby than the other kiss, right? I was so surprised. How come Islam and Christianity can kiss each other that much? Yes. Making a Sunday law is never easy, and no one was agreed before. This is because Islam day of worship is a Friday, Judaism is a Saturday, and Christianity mostly they worship on Sunday, isn't it? And we worship what day? Adventist worship on Sabbath, which is a Saturday. In the first attempt, all three religions worship on the same day. It was the first time the three religions worship in same day. It was no coincidence that the United Arab Emirates declared Sunday as a whole holiday starting in January 2022 last year. I think I gave you about this news, right? Their holiday was Friday and Saturday. But they are claiming that, okay, we will also take a rest on Sunday. And one of the leader said this way, maybe we could worship even Sunday too. So I didn't know how come they can change the worshiping day. This first attempt was fulfilled this year, and we see that the history of the world is showing that the events of Revelation 13 are coming to a head. Well, when we say about the Bible, we always say this unification will go on. But even when I was young, I never noticed and I never believed that this will be happen. But just the last year and this year, just a few years now, these things already started and ongoing. The conflict between good and evil is the conflict about or worshiping. I explain you, right? Okay. Can you read this verse together?
For you have said in your heart, I will ascend into heaven. I will exalt my throne above the stars of God. I will also sit on the mount of the congregation on the farther sides of the north. I will ascend above the heights of the clouds. I will be like the Most High.
Who is speaking this? Who is speaking this? Lucifer. Lucifer. Lucifer is saying that I will exalt my throne above the stars of God. Meaning to say, above all the angels of God, I want to also sit down. I'll be like the Most High. Meaning to say, he want to be like a God, and he want to be also worshipped by the other. Why? Only God worship. But he wants to be most high, and he wants to be also worshipped by the people too. Also from the other angel. Okay. Can you read the first one?
Saying with a loud voice, Fear God and give glory to him, for the hour of his judgment has come, and worship him who made heaven and earth, the sea and springs of water.
So the Bible clearly says that we need to worship God who created the world, isn't it? But the Satan in the last days will say this. Can you read this?
And all the world marveled and followed the beast. So they worshiped the dragon who gave authority to the beast, and they worshiped the beast.
Yes. So conflict between good and evil is a conflict between worship God or worship fake God. Who is the dragon? The Satan. Satan. So these two verses is showing the world history is going with the worshiping. Between the conflict between worship God or worship the dragon. Worship whom? Either we worship the God, the creator, or the Lucifer, the fake one. How do we know? Worship when? Worship day. If we keep the Sabbath, the day of creation, and we remember the creator, but the Sunday, the day of sun, which is Lucifer made for himself. We already know the Ten Commandments. And the Ten Commandments between the Bible and commandments of the Catholic Church is so different. Well, because they keep having worshiping the idol, they take out the second commandment, and third becomes second. And the Bible clearly says that remember the Sabbath day and keep it holy. But they said what? Remember to keep holy the Lord's day. How big difference? Because their Lord is not the God. Their Lord is something else. And the 10th commandment, they split as a two. That's why they said, you shall not covet your neighbor's wife, and you shall not covet your neighbor's goods. But actually, that was including in the 10th commandment. Okay. John Paul II, the 1999, he wrote the book, The Lord's Day. He is speaking about the chapter 1, the Lord's Day, chapter 2, Christ's Day, chapter 3, Church Day, and chapter 4, Human Day, and chapter 5, Day of the days. Yes. And he is speaking like this. Can you read it? Even quite long.
For centuries, Christians were unable to attach any special significance of Sabbath rest to the first day of the week. So they simply observed it as the worship. It wasn't until the 4th century that the Roman Empire's civil code recognized the weekly cycle by deciding that judges, city dwellers, and those engaged in various trades did not have to work on the day of the sun or Sunday.
So John Paul is saying that Sabbath rest to the first day. According to God, it says that Sabbath rest is when? The 7th day. But he says what day? The Sunday. He's saying Sunday. Did not have to work on the day of sun or Sunday. But actually, the commandment of God is clearly says that thou shalt not work on the 7th day. So he intend to change the Sabbath to Sunday again. And he's just saying that Sabbath day is a Sunday, which is the first day. Well, after that, Francis, in 2015, he made the Laudato Si, meaning to say, be praised from others. So you should be praised by others, meaning to say that way. He also write a book, and his chapter is like this. What's happening to our common home? Our common home is the earth. Okay. Chapter 2, the gospel of creation, the root of the human ecological crisis and integral ecology, and approach and action, and ecological education and spirituality. Okay, can you read this together?
Global warming affects the carbon cycle. Warming creates a vicious cycle that makes things worse, affecting the availability of essential resources like water, energy, and agricultural products in warmer regions and leading to the loss of the planet's biodiversity. If current trends continue, the 21st century will witness unprecedented climate change and unprecedented ecosystem disruption with serious consequences for all of us.
Yes. Can we save the earth? We cannot. Because the Bible clearly says that the world will be destroyed. But he's saying that if the people not cooperating to save the earth, that's against the common good. That was the main about his book. Okay. Through the corona, just a small group of people, the people who lead world, create a sense of crisis. They make the people be afraid and create fear to all, and then manipulate the people. When was it happen? Yes, we've already seen how societies can be manipulated in this way with coronavirus. Closing church is in your law, Bill. Closing church was not in the law.
During the
The
pandemic,
government
it was,
cannot insist the church to close the. Why? Because in your constitution, the freedom of religion should be separate from the power of government, political power.
Mhm.
But during the time of coronavirus, it was ignored.
Right.
Not only in your country, all over the world. Why? Because that was the problem of live or the death. Okay? As a result, the very rich have gotten even more money. The middle class has been crushed. And we are seeing that many countries about the world are going bankrupt, especially in countries like Libya and Argentina, Venezuela. You know what's going on in Venezuela? Venezuela, they're the people who has most oil in the world. But now when you go to Venezuela, many children is asking for the food and money on the street because their inflation is running at over 100%. Well, let's just see some climate change.
Rare waterspout report from the Turks and Caicos Islands. A tornado occurred in Santa Maria Tecachalco, Mexico.
One thing is assured that these are not normal things. This is just happening just one day, 16 or
Heavy
15,
floods
just a
have
few days
followed 2
ago.
days of severe rainfall hit Emilia-Romagna, northern Italy, in worst flooding in 100 years. An estimated 20,000 have been left homeless in a disaster that caused 23 rivers to burst their banks and 280 landslides,
Have you heard this
engulfing
news?
41 cities and towns.
This is about Algeria.
Several Algerian states witnessed strong winds accompanied by heavy dust, which obscured vision and turned sky to red in some areas,
They cannot see the
including the
sky,
Jaffa and Lagouad region.
even though they turn on the light because they cannot see. Turkey, I don't know how many floods they have recently. This is just the May 17. When is that? The day before yesterday.
Half an hour of rain accompanied by hail caused severe flash floods in Balikesir in different neighborhoods.
Well, do you think the people will get afraid? Yes, they got afraid. Well, actually, what is going on now in the world is surely that is not normal and never happened before. And 100 record was break, 500 record break, 1,000 record year record break. And who is becoming leader for global climate changes now? Who become kind of leader? You don't see? So we have a leader now. Who is that? The Pope. Why Pope is in the front for the global climate change? You must listen this. He's speaking very clearly, okay? Because it was spoken September 5, 2018, before too much climate changes. Please read it, listen it carefully. Anyway, when you listen, you must read it because you cannot understand when you listen, right?
Guadagnare per divertirsi, appagarsi. L'immagine modello è quella di una persona di successo che può permettersi
And how many
anche
people are listening? You can see.
L'uomo non si è mai riposato tanto come oggi, eppure l'uomo non ha mai sperimentato tanto vuoto come oggi.
Pope Francis recalled that in the Bible, God's rest is related to looking joyfully at reality, and that this is the model of authentic rest.
La domenica non è il giorno per cancellare gli altri giorni, ma per ricordarli, benedirli e fare pace con la vita. La domenica è la giornata per fare pace con la vita, dicendo la vita è preziosa. Non è facile, a volte è dolorosa, ma è preziosa.
Yes, he's speaking about the Sunday now, isn't it? Why? Well, he says Pope Francis has said this about September 5, 2018, during his weekly general audience at St. Peter's Square in Vatican City. He was reflecting on the commandments to keep holy the Lord's Day and spoke of the meaning of rest. He's saying that we need to take a rest. Why? Why he is keep on saying that? Here is the full quote. Sunday is not the day to erase the other days, but to remember them, bless them, and make peace with the life. Sunday is the day make peace with the life by saying, life is precious, it is not easy. Sometimes it is painful, but it is precious. Pope Francis' words are the reminder that Sunday is the day to rest and to reflect on the good things in our lives. It is a day to make peace with the life, even when it is difficult. Talk about the importance of Sundays and how they should be spent about the Sunday. Well, in his book, Laudato Si, the Be Praised, there is a say Sunday is special important. Sunday, like a Sabbath in Judaism, is to be observed as a day of healing our relationship with God. So he is now saying that we need to make the relation with God through the Sunday. Sunday proclaims the eternal rest that man will enjoy in God. Can you see this kind of words in the Bible? No, you cannot find it any. And he is saying that Sunday is a Sabbath. And he keep on saying that the Sabbath law prohibited work. What does it mean? So he is saying that during the Sabbath, all the work must stop, and he's speaking, or we must not work on Sabbath. Do you understand? For him, when is the Sabbath day? Which is the Sunday. So he is making law. Why? For the climate, at least we can save 1/7. And this is Catholic news was shown about this too. We must focus about this everlasting covenant for crisis. What is the everlasting covenant? 10 Commandments. But he's just talking about the Sunday. And he said we explore that Old Testament backdrop for why it is important to keep the Lord's Day holy. Do you see any Lord's Day holy in the Old Testament? Never. Never ever. So he is showing what? About the Sabbath. And they are calling a new Sabbath. This title is not given by myself. It was. So I was saying that, what is this? Problem is like this. We must understand about the beginning of Catholic Church. Okay? The problem with the Catholicism is not the Pope or Catholics. There will be many believers among them who will realize the correct truth and be saved in the end times, like you before. Isn't it? Like them. Like many of you were Catholic before, isn't it? The problem is with the very structure of Catholicism is a problem. They have a Christianity, and they have a paganism, and they have a Roman Empire. In the middle, what is there? Roman Catholic come out. So Catholicism is a Pope-centered religion that has changed the fundamental doctrine of the Bible, created and taught church institutions and doctrines in the guise of paganism, and has potential power as an independent state. So what they do is they change whatever they want. Why? Because their doctrine is not from the Bible alone, but their doctrine come out from the paganism too. And the Roman Empire, also the system. This is a rationale and logic for Sunday law, when and how it will be stand for. Climate disaster argues by carbon talking a day off can reduce carbon emission by 1/7. And this is the speaking of the Pope this time. And this will be progressed as like this. The Bible says that anyone who violates the Sabbath is a criminal. So we should enact a Sunday rest law for a well-being of humanity. What? Well-being of humanity. So they have a common good. So how does it develop? Ongoing climate disasters are caused by people who violate Sunday. They must be found and punished. So those people who is not keeping Sunday, they are going to what? Punished. It was happened before, and it will be happen again. The Bible says it like this. Can you read this?
As many as would not worship the image of the beast to be killed.
Yes. Even there are thousands of thousands, the Bible says they will be killed if they don't worship the Sunday. Why? Because without the law, they cannot kill. With the Sunday law, they can kill. Do you understand? That's why we believe that Sunday law is coming, and we can see many things that it's coming really in reality. Can you read in the corner?
No one may buy or sell except one who has the mark or the name of the beast.
Yes. So those people who doesn't have a mark of beast, they cannot buy or sell. They are exempted in economical activities. Even you have money, you cannot buy it. As like before you don't show the QR code in the shopping center, you cannot buy the things. Do you remember? Do you know what is this? Obelisk. We call that obelisk, right? Obelisk is the tower to worship sun. That's why it is a very sharp at the end, okay? And that Egypt obelisk, not this obelisk, but if you go to the Vatican, you can see the obelisk too. This is not they just made it. This is from really Egypt. They really bring it for because this is one of their beliefs too. At the top, what they put is like this. There is a cross, and under the cross, what is that? The sun. The sun. If you see this, you know what is this? Sun God, isn't it? And if you go to Catholic Church, you can see this shape, IHS. What does it mean, IHS? Even you go to the church in the St. Peter's Church, you can see this, made by gold. And it says the IHS, in the shape of the sun. Their faith is not Christianity faith. And you can see that Pope Francis bring the shape of the sun with a cross at the top. Actually, IHS is Jesus, which means the Jesus. The Catholic is not original Christianity. Catholic come out from the sun worshipping paganism. They changed the day of worshiping God, and they make the abomination of desolation. The Bible, fourth commandment, very clearly say this way. Can you read it together?
Remember the Sabbath day to keep it holy. 6 days you shall labor and do all your work. But the seventh day is the Sabbath of the Lord your God. In it you shall do no work. You, nor your son, nor your daughter, nor your male servant, nor your female servant, nor your cattle, nor your stranger who is within your gates. For in 6 days the Lord made the heavens and the earth, the sea, and all that is in them, and rested the seventh day. Therefore the Lord blessed the Sabbath day and hallowed it.
In the Bible, we don't see Lord bless the first day. He only blessed the seventh day. And when we keep the Sabbath, we admit God as my God as a creator. Do you understand? That's why the keeping Sabbath is quite important. Why? Because I admit true God as my God, not other God. The Christianity cannot accept other God. Only one God, the Creator. And God is speaking like this. Can you read it?
Moreover, I also gave them my Sabbaths, to be a sign between them and me, that they might know that I am the Lord who sanctifies them.
Yeah, he's saying that. It is the Sabbath, and it to be a sign between you and me. And you know that I am the Lord who sanctified them. The Sabbath is a sign between God and us. Then how come God can change his sign without written in the Bible to Sunday? Which is a very impossible. But it was spoken when you see the abomination of desolation standing in the holy place. There is a time we know that and we worry about the Sunday law. There is a time Sunday law will be claimed to the people. Can you read it? This is the last verse.
Now, when these things begin to happen, look up and lift up your heads, because your redemption draws near.
Yes. Some news, most of the news, you never mind before. I'm sure that you never saw this kind of news. Even me, most of the news was a very new. But one thing is sure, even you know or not, even we study or not, the time is coming. Even you ready or not, Jesus will come. So now, in this Sabbath, you should choose whom you will serve as your Lord. Let's pray.